Good morning, friends. My name is Beverly from Ball Homestead. Today we're going to do some up potting. Um, a lot of our tomatoes have their true leaves, and it's time to get them in some bigger pots with some good nutrition. So let's get started on that. As you can see, a lot of our tomatoes have all their true leaves and are ready to be up potted. So we are going to get busy on that. Some of them we will leave. Some rolls aren't doing quite as well as others, but we're going to get started because we have a lot of tomatoes to up pot. Every year I save my pots from one year to the next, and I reuse them. That saves cost for us, and then I don't have to purchase those every single year. So what I'm going to do is Wayne has got me a bag of good potting mix in the greenhouse, and I'm going to fill up and put on trays enough to fill a tray, and then we'll start this process. All right, I have 14 pots ready to plant here, and I'm going to try to stick with my Arkansas Travelers in this tray because I don't want to have multiple pots of, making new labels for every one of them. So all I'm going to do, because these two rolls here are Arkansas Travelers, I'm just going to kind of scoop that plant out, make a hole in my new soil, and pop it in. Some of them need to stay, and that's okay. We'll just skip those and go to the next ones. And we're just going to continue doing that. I just scoop them out the best that I can to get that root ball and stick them down in my dirt. Up potting is not hard, especially tomato plants. They're very resilient to that. I've been doing this for quite a few years, and this is just how I do it. Sometimes I'll plant several in one little spot and then just separate them. It's not hard at all, and they're very forgiving. That's the word I'm looking for. Some of these, like I said, I'm leaving if they haven't got their true leaves, but we'll come back to them in another week or so. But we're just going to leave them be if they haven't got their true leaves, and we will just keep potting the ones that do. And these are all Arkansas Travelers. We're going to skip any of the ones. With these first two rolls here is what we got to stay on. There's two plants in this thing, and all I do is kind of pull them apart and stick them down. This soil that we got is a potting mix, and it has some nutrition in it, where the seed starting mix really doesn't. Well, it just helps because there's no inhibitors of wood chunks or anything to keep your plant from germinating and pushing through the soil. But we up pot as soon as they're big enough because we want our little seedlings to have the best chance that we can. And we plant a ton of tomato plants every year, and we share with friends and family. We sell a few, just whatever we decide to do with however many we've got anyways. But we put out about 75 plants a year because we put up most of our vegetable food for the year. Not all, but a lot of it. It sure helps on the grocery bill. So in that short amount of time, we've already got 14 pots done. I'm going to go get another tray ready, and we'll continue on. I'm actually going to see, because I only have one more in this section of the Arkansas Travelers that could be up potted. I'm going to see if I can fit another pot there. Maybe something really small we could just stick right here. There's one. Yeah, there we go. Get that one in a pot, and now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 Arkansas Travelers up potted. We're just going to leave these 3, 6, 8, 9 that are left until they're ready. Now I'm just going to get me another thing, and I'm going to write Arkansas Traveler on these so that I know what I have planted and what pots, because that is the biggest thing. And I'm going to try to do trays of like tomato plants. That way I don't have to make a ton of them. But there is our Arkansas Travelers. Now we're going to move on to our orange Roussellinis. All right, in this potting thing, I have 18 available holes. So we're going to start up potting these orange Roussellinis. I figure this will take care of the ones that are ready. And we will just move on along and get them done really quick. I'm going to start back here and putting our plant in. And just putting the dirt around. It's not hard. Nothing I do is hard. It is a learning process. If you've got a place to make a small little greenhouse, you can use a clear plastic tub is what I started out with growing my seedlings out on the front porch. You can grow tomatoes and stuff. Just plant your seedlings in there and put that clear plastic tote over it. Get you a bag of soil that'll fit the same length of your plastic tote and put them in there. And then, you know, grow them in there and put the top over it, and it creates like a greenhouse effect. We've had a homemade greenhouse for a while, and then we bought this one, and we've done adjustments to it. This one was not expensive. I'll link it in the description. Wayne built a new door on it this year because the old zipper had finally give out, but nothing that we do is really expensive. The most expensive thing that we've spent money on is filling our garden beds, because our soil is like clay and a big rock. We have just boulders here. We just keep plugging along until we get all these little orange Rousselini plants in their new pots. And they're going to have a lot more nutrition in this soil than they did the seed starting mix. There's more vitamins in it. It's self-feeding up to 6 months. So we probably will hit these with a little Miracle Grow in the next week or two, but not for a while. They won't need it. We're just going to water them in good once we get them planted. And that's it. Seed starting is not hard at all. You just need the right conditions. And humidity and warmth is what you need. And looky there, we've got 18 more plants done. Now this one, I only see 1, maybe 2 Cherokee purples in there that I could up pot. I may go ahead and do that because I want to give them the best chance possible, because that's our favorite tomato plant. And I may just pull this down since it's already set up. We keep, like I said, every pot, every tray, people save them for me. I do not purchase the stuff. It's just people are kind enough to think, oh, Bev might want those, and save them for me. But I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We might get 10, and I need to mark that one before I forget to do that. And those are orange Roussellinis. This is where I get in trouble, is forgetting to mark stuff. I'm going to go fill this up, and we're going to get these Cherokee purples planted. All right, we're ready to plant these Cherokee purples, and we're just going to start scooping them out. I try not to disturb the root ball. Sometimes it happens, but I try not to, and then I just scoop them out of the thing and put them in their new pot. It's that simple. And these will be ready, and by the planting season, they'll be big, beautiful tomato plants if the Lord willing. There's 2 here. I'm just going to easily pull those apart and get them in the soil. There's also 2 here. Some of these are a little small, but I'm just going on with it because I have some empty pots and I think they'll be fine. And we need 2 more. We'll pick these 2. Just split them, poke them in, cover them up. Easy peasy. Now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 Cherokee purples. We're going to go ahead and write on those. And we'll move on to our next ones. I have a ton of tomatillos that need to be up potted. We'll probably do that next. I'm going to do these tomatillos in cell packs because I feel like they'll go further. And we're not going to plant all these. We'll either sell some or we'll gift them away to friends. But I'm probably only going to do 1 bed of tomatillos this year. So I'm going to get some cell packs ready and we'll get going on those. All right, this is my first year of ever planting tomatillos. I usually just take all my green tomatoes and make salsa verde, but I decided I wanted to give it a try because we love salsa verde. So we're going to do them the exact same way as we did our tomato plants. We're probably going to have multiple trays of these, and that's okay because every little bit counts. And like I said, we share and we sell some of our plants to help with the expenses of the garden. So that's all right. We'll just plant them up and we're going to do as many as we can. All these are ready to be up potted, so that's good. We'll probably use, I'm going to say probably 12 to 15 of these for a bed or 2 because I'd really love to try them. Like I said, we eat a ton of salsa verde every year and making enchiladas and stuff like that. And I would really like to have a bunch planted to give them a try. So we're just going to keep plugging along, plucking these little tomatillos out and making our holes and just keep working along. This will be a first time for me planting them. These are purple tomatillos. That's the seeds I happened to find. The green ones were gone already, sold out. So we just went with the purple ones. I thought, well, we're gonna give them a shot this year. This is just an expert potting mix from Walmart. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. I think the bag was $10 for 2 cubic foot, which is actually not bad at all. These things germinated amazingly. I'm just going to keep plugging along till we get this complete roll of tomatillos done. We have a whole nother roll to deal with, and we will probably work on them next because I have a hard time letting any plants not get up potted and a chance to survive is the way I look at it, because groceries are so expensive and everybody should be attempting to grow food, I believe. We went yesterday to pick up some salad making stuff at our local Food Smart in Newport, Arkansas, and they are usually the cheapest store around. I paid $30 for lettuce, spinach, some mushrooms, tomatoes, and ham, friends. $30. When I'm filling my trays, this is all I do is just take dirt and pop them in. It's not anything hard. I just reuse everything. Like I said, people save stuff for me. We actually had a man contact us that him and his wife had a greenhouse and they weren't doing that anymore, so they gave us a bunch of pots and trays and stuff this year, and I will use every bit of it because this is we just save it. If we don't use it one year, it's there for the next, and it doesn't cost anything. So that's what I like. The gardening doesn't have to be expensive. Watch your local marketplaces and things. I try to get the big chunks of wood out as I'm filling, but I just go through and fill with our garden mix. I figure we'll probably use 2 big bags of this soil, up pot and plants that we already have planted, and who knows, I get wild hair sometimes and come out here and I'll plant a bunch more, especially if I feel like there's going to be a need. The plants in town are already ridiculous. I've been looking, just price comparison, and friends, $5 for a tomato plant is stupid when you can grow them yourself. All right, we're just going to keep filling. We're going to do the rest of these tomatillos and get them up potted and out of our tray. Like I said, these will either be, a lot of them will be sold or gifted to family and friends, because we are all about promoting gardens. We think everyone should grow food, and in this economy, if you're not doing just that, I know you're suffering, because the grocery store prices reflect that. All right. See, these are all stuck together here. I'm just going to easily pull them apart. See that root bulb? I'm just going to stick it in the ground. There we go. We'll just keep moving along. It's a fast process if you know what you're doing. I've been doing this a long time. And it works. I'm sure somebody's going to say it's not right, but it works for us, and we grow all of our plants every year. See that long root bulb on that? We can probably break about half of that off. And stick that big, beautiful baby down. Okay, we got 1 row of our tomatillos up potted. I'm going to grab the other tray and bring them down this up. Nothing I like better than being in nature, too. It always is good for my mood and everything. I love having my hands in the dirt, and I love growing stuff. It's just magical to me that tiny little seed we planted. Look at the plant we already have. Now it's just managing those seedlings. And I think this tray is going to be about the perfect amount for our seedlings here. We may double plant a couple of them just because I hate wasting seeds. After I planted them, I want to do something with them. So we're just going to plant what we got. We're almost done with these. This new soil, though, will give them some much needed nutrition, where the seed starting mix is just to help germinate those seeds. It is not a good mix for growing in. It doesn't have any nutrition to it. So we have 1 left, and I think I'm going to stick it right here with this one. All right, we got all of our tomatillos transplanted. We're going to write on a couple of things so we know what we have, and we're going to move on to the next tray. All right, we're going to start getting these we're going to start with the Brandywines, and then we'll move to the All Polcas, and then we have a whole nother tray. This whole thing is going to be full of plants when we're done. I was looking a while ago, and I was like, man, this is 2, so we're going to split that and just poke them in. I mean, it's so easy, friends, growing your own seedlings. It is not hard. Some of these I will leave because they need to grow a little bit more, and that's okay. We'll just kind of work around them. But we're going to get as many of these Brandywines in pots as we can. There's 3 here. I'm just gently removing them and poking them in the dirt. Kind of make a hole and stick them in there. We're probably going to use both of these for just Brandywines. That's okay. I've got plenty of seeds starting, or trays to up pot in. Throw that back in there. And these big chunks, I try to kind of toss them out because I don't want them to inhibit the growth of my plant. But you don't have to have a bunch of fancy tools and stuff to seed start. Everything we have either people have saved for us, people have given us. I mean, the most expensive thing we buy is our seeds and our dirt. And the dirt is $10 at Walmart or probably Home Depot too. You could pick it up either place, and you don't have to buy this brand, just a good potting mix. We do this every year, and sometimes I'm watching gardening shows and I think they've made it so difficult for just the common person that, you know, doesn't have a lot of money. That's why they're seed starting, to go spend all this money on plants or on the seeds and the mixes and all this. This is just so inexpensive to do. We have 1 left, so I'm going to pop it in here with this guy. They can share a pot, and that's all right too. We're going to mark these, and we'll move on to our All Polcas. I mean, you do have to spend a little bit, but it's not, well, shoot, we have a whole nother roll of Brandywines here. Maybe we will just do another pot real quick. I just decided to do a 6-pack because I feel like that's about what we have left here. I'm just going to pop them in, separate those. It's not hard, friends, and it's so much cheaper. I can grow double the food for 1/4 of the money, if that makes any sense. Because one plant, if you figure it up at $5, it's not going to take very long for you to spend hundreds of dollars on plants when I can order my seeds in the fall when they're on sale and have my anything I want to grow, I can grow as long as I get my seeds started in time. Brandywine. Let me do another one here. I was looking for another thingy. Gardening does not have to be expensive though. You can do it cheaply, and that's how we choose to do it. As cheap and organic as we can. We do like to buy good seeds. We buy from M.I. Gardner and Baker Creek. That's where all of our seeds come from. And friends, the germination rate's better. It's, you know, you get some neat stuff you can, and that's why we like it. I'm gonna get some All Polca trays ready, and we have vintage wine. Those can wait. These All Polcas need to be up potted though, so we're gonna get going on those. All right, we've got 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 18, 19, 20, 21 pots for our All Polcas. These are the absolute best, like, Roma tomato that I have ever planted. I saw it on Living Traditions Homestead. We tried it last year, I believe it was. So wonderful, so prolific. So that is my new, like, Roma-like sauce tomato. We love them. We're gonna get this all potted up and get, like I said, you've seen us start out with like 4 trays of seed starts. By the end of this show, we're gonna have this greenhouse base full of plants. It doesn't take long when you're up potting to get your stuff out of control with plants. It just does not take long at all. And I just go through and poke them in, friends. I start at the root base and just push them down and cover them with dirt. It's not hard at all. But this new soil will give them some much needed nutrition, because like I said, the seed starting mix does not provide a good nutrition for these plants. We want you know, them to be fed. They're going to require things. All that seed starting mix is good for is to get your seeds sprouted well. So that's why as soon as they get their true leaves, we start planting them up. And we're probably going to need another tray. So let me get that ready. A lot of times if I don't feel like I'm going to have a whole tray, I'll do cells. And I've got 2 here prepared for All Polcas. We'll be sure and mark them because we'll have a random tray of different kinds of tomato plants. And I don't feel like I had enough to do a whole nother tray. I may be wrong because some of these are really clustered up. But we're going to see. Just separate those as well as we can. Try not to, you know, rip them. Oops, that's 2 there. Rip them apart. Just easily pull them apart and pop them in. It's definitely not nothing hard. Believe me, if it was, I couldn't do it. And we were right to just do cells because we are out of All Polcas. I think that's it. Well, we'll go ahead and plant this little guy since we're up potting. He don't have his true leaves yet, but we're going to go ahead and put him along with this little guy. If they don't make, they don't make. And that's not a big deal, but we will mark these. And, oops, we've got 2 right here. So we just need 1. All right, there's our All Polcas. I want to show y'all the bench so far, and I even have stuff sitting on top. But I want to show you what it looks like so far. We started out with 4 trays like this. These 4 trays of seedlings. We've only just begun, and we've already got over half of our bar completely full. Plus, I have some sitting up here and over there. Before we're done, this whole thing will be full of plants. All right, for our random tomato plants, we're just going to stick them. These are the 6 packs that we did, but we didn't have like quite a full tray to do another one. We're going to pop them here. See, I'm already running out of space to work, and I don't like that when that happens. And just to get this other tray out of the way, we're going to go ahead and up pot these vintage wines. I figured we'll have 1 good tray of those, so I'm going to get that prepared. All right, for these vintage wine tomatoes, I had to get a little bit invented because I was running out of space, quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I had to move them down here, so I'm going to grab quite a few and come back, and we're going to get those potted up. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 18 pots here. So we're gonna do what we can do to get these all ready for their new home. They'll stay in these pots until they're ready to go into the garden. That's why what I always do is I up pot 1 time so that it saves me, because friends, I live a very busy life. I don't have time to up pot 2 or 3 times, so we up pot once, and then they're ready for the garden when they're ready for the garden. Just get my little seedlings here. Separate you guys. Whoop. These are a little small, but it'll be okay. I'm wanting to get those seed starting trays, as many as I can, out of the way because I'm running out of space in here, y'all. It doesn't take long. It's crazy to think those 4 little trays turned into all this, but it's the way it goes. Which I start my seeds pretty heavy, and it doesn't take long at all for them to get out of control and stuff and ready to go, getting ready to go into the garden. Okay, we got 18 vintage wine. There's probably about 6 more left in there, but they're really small. So we are going to pop those out of the way because we don't have space for them down here on the grow table anymore. We're going to put them up here on the shelf along with these others that didn't quite make the cut the first time. All right. I'm going to mark those as vintage wine, and we're going to keep plugging along. We got 1 more tray to work through. And then, of course, in a few days, I'll come back and check these ones we've left behind, and we may have a whole nother tray or 2 of tomatoes to pot up. But I wanted to show you how quickly those 4 little trays, and we haven't even started on the peppers. Those won't go for a while. They still have a lot of growing to do. But we got all of our tomatillos. Now we've got a German Johnson. We're going to do those next, along with our mortgage lifter and our watermelon beefsteak and our giant Belgium. So we're probably going to have about 4 or 5 more trays of tomatoes to go. All right, we're going to start with our German Johnsons and just work our way over. That makes more sense to me. And we're going to start by just pulling those out and making our way. We've got 18 cells here. I think we'll have plenty with that. And we can get this tray out of our way, which is much needed at this point. Some of these are huge, which is great. Just working our way along, friends. We may need another tray of these. Actually, add just a little bit more soil to this one. Somehow or another, I missed getting it full. I think 1 tray is going to probably be about perfect. We may have to add 2 plants to some cells, but that will be fine. Some of these are just beautiful big plants. I mean, look at this one, friends. I plant those big ones as deep as I can get them too, because you want them to grow a good root system for when they go out into the garden. Alright, 1 more. We couldn't have done that any better. That was the perfect amount. We had 18 plants there. So there's our German Johnsons. We're going to mark those and get them out of the way if we can find somewhere to set them. We're running out of space quick. I'll probably just set them back here on the floor until we get done. Like I said, all these plants will stay in whatever pot they're in until they go into the garden. We don't up pot but 1 time because I don't have time, first off, and neither does Wayne. We both work a lot, and so I try to up pot them so where they're in a pot that will sustain them until it's time to plant them in the garden. I'm so ready to get in the garden and get to planting all that glorious food. I love going out. I call it grocery shopping in the garden. Going out and getting something for a meal. It just makes me feel so proud and accomplished. And I love doing that, putting up food to last Wayne and I throughout the winter. We're eating on the year before last crop still. We have so much food, it really wouldn't make, I mean, we could probably go a year without growing a garden, but we would never do that because you just never know what's gonna happen. Next week, I'm going to do a series on Mrs. Wage's products. And we're going to make a bunch of stuff from our canned tomatoes from last year that we need replenished in our pantry. So watch for that. I should have everything in. I ordered it, I think it said it would be in Monday. So anyways, these, I'm about out of dirt. We've got plenty. We bought a pallet full, but it's so muddy out there. I really don't want to go out there to get it. So we'll just see where we get here and go from there. I might con Wayne into going and getting it for me. Maybe we'll do, yeah, let's stick with the plan, mortgage lifters. Or do we want to, no, let's do the watermelon beefsteaks. There's 2 rolls of those. And we'll do 2 plants per big pot because these are way bigger. Look at that big beautiful plant. Growing stuff is like my favorite pastime though. I get really into it. I think it's amazing. I think God gave us this knowledge to really help with your anxiety and stress, because being in the garden and having my hands in the dirt always makes me feel better when I'm feeling kind of anxious or down or anything. So for me, it's kind of therapeutic. These watermelon beefsteak plants are huge. Got 1 pot left, so I'm gonna go back, pluck this one out, and put it, because it's so big, and we'll move this one to the center. Perfect. So we've got all these watermelon beefsteaks done up. Now we just like our giant Belgiums and our mortgage lifters. And I've got to go get more dirt. So I'll be back in just a minute. All right, I went ahead and got another bag of that soil and brought in the greenhouse. We're just gonna get these trays filled. And I think there's about 12 to 15 plants, but we'll just see how far we can get with this. I may do a 6-pack to put in our 6-pack thing. That's okay too. This is an 8-tray pot holder. And then we're going to get all these beautiful plants watered in. These are going to be Belgium Giants. We're just going to start putting them in. I've never planted this variety, but it'll be a good first time trial. They looked yummy on the thing. If anybody doesn't know, I am a tomato addict. I love a good garden tomato. Let me get a 6-pack here. And some of that last year's dirt out and fill these up. Then we'll just have one section left. And we can water everything in. Okay. All right, these are done. We'll put a tag on those and move to the next ones. Those are giant Belgium. Okay, and then all we like is our mortgage lifters. We didn't plant as many of those. These are a really soft, like salad tomato. So I think we're just going to do 2 6-packs of those and call it good. So I'm going to grab 2 6-packs. Packs of this and that. All right, those can be pulled out. These tomatoes were very prolific. They were not my favorite for eating, like just slicing and eat them. They were more like for a salad or something like that. I did use a lot of them in sauces because we had so many of them. But they were not my favorite, but they were very prolific. So I thought we would go for it again. I didn't plant, as you'll notice, near as many. But I did plant enough for us to have a nice little crop of them. So I think there's going to be about 11 to 12 plants here. 11. And that's okay. All right, let me just get that marked. And we're going to be done with the planting for today. And then we'll get everything watered in. Right, we can move this seed tray out of the way. Give us, because we completely emptied it. Give us some space at the time. But we have all of our seeds that we can get up potted at this moment done. And I'm going to show you now how many, just how many we have. All right, friends, this is from our time out here all the way to the end is our up potted plants that we just finished. We have a couple of cell trays right up here in this corner that need to go just a little bit longer. Then we'll up pot them. I would say there's probably about 30 more plants up there. But that just goes to show you how those 2 or 3 cell packs that we started our seeds in, how they've multiplied. Anyways, I think it turned out good. I'm excited. I'm going to get all these plants watered in and we'll be done for the morning. All right, we're going to get these plants watered in. And just use this little sprayer. Get everything watered well. Have a nice little drink. Sometimes instead of doing this, I'll just go get me a 5-gallon bucket of water too and just water everything. And that may be what I do because this is going to take forever. Guys, I had a blonde moment. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm just going to bring the spray head in here and spray these down. I have different settings on this, so I'm able to control how much water goes to each one. We're just going to water those in nice and well. I'd be here all day if I was doing that little sprayer. Ain't nobody got time for that. Give everything a little drink. And we will be done with our greenhouse work today. Alright. Everything's all watered in, and we will just leave it be, and we'll check on it again in a few days. All right, friends, thank you for hanging out with me this morning as we up-pot all these beautiful little tomato seedlings and pray for a wonderful crop in the future. Thank you for stopping back by our homestead. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, friends, goodbye.